Imagine denying that you're a millionaire only for your financial disclosures just a couple months later to show that your net worth has skyrocketed to up to $30 million. That is the story of Democrat Representative Ilhan Omar. And I also think there is a problem to figure out. It is important to take a deep dive into the congressional financial disclosures, how they work, why they matter, and recognize that Ilhan Omar has made a lot of freaking money becoming a public servant. Now, the goal of the congressional disclosures is to keep politicians accountable as best that is possible at all. I mean, in reality, I feel like voters should keep politicians accountable, but also they have to know what the politician is doing so that they can do exactly that. The disclosures, though, also highlight how people in DC get so freaking rich. Under the Ethics in Government Act of 1978, which was dated by the Stock Act in 2012, members of Congress must disclose their personal finances to prevent conflict of interest, insider trading, and corruption. Again, it should be up to the voters to do that, but again, this is how the voters know what's happening is happening. Supposedly, this is supposed to promote transparency so the public can see what lawmakers' decisions are doing and whether or not they benefit their wallets or people that they're serving, which would be a novel situation. New members have to file their initial report within 30 days of taking office. Then, annual reports are due by May 15th each and every year, which covers the previous calendar year. So, for example, the reports that were filed in May of 2025 covered the 2024 fiscal year. Actually, no, it's the calendar year. I don't know why I said fiscal. Termination reports are also required within 30 days of leaving office. Plus, there's periodical transaction reports, or PTRs, in case somebody sells or trades assets or is engaged in the stock market with purchases over $1,000. Those must be filed within 30 to 45 days of the transaction. Again, all of the stuff is generally annual, but PTRs can happen multiple times a year if those folks are active traders. I wonder why anybody would be an active trader. It's almost like they have some sort of behind the scene insights on things that we may not have. Failure to disclose can lead to fines up to $50,000 or an ethics investigation. In 2020, an Open Secrets report found that the median net worth of members of Congress was, get this, just north of $1 million. So on average, these people are worth millions. Go figure. Ilhan Omar, for her part, in February of 2025 claimed, "I'm not a millionaire. That's ridiculous and categorically false. I am a working mom with student debt who lives in expensive cities like DC and Minneapolis." Unfortunately for her credibility, the May 2025 annual disclosure said something else. Ilhan Omar's net worth jumped to as much as $30 million, which for those of you doing math at home is a 3,500% increase. You know, if you can find a portfolio manager that can get you 15%, gosh, 20%, holy cow, stick with that person the rest of your life. I would be dumbfounded and awestruck if you could find a portfolio manager that gets you 3,500% increase. Now that's her 2024 year-to-date calendar filing as opposed to her 2023 filing. Now, it is probably abundantly clear this is not from her $174,000 congressional salary. It's actually tied to her husband's businesses. The couple owns a winery that, in the new, most recent congressional financial disclosures, is somewhere between $1 million and $5 million, which in 2023 was between $15,000 and $50,000. So on the most conservative basis, that winery has gone up in value by 20 times. Not entirely sure how that happens unless people who are important with business to do with the government go to that winery instead of other wineries. That would be the only way it makes sense to me. It also comes from Rose Lake Capital LLC, a venture capitalist firm with assets reporting, with Omar and her husband, of $5 to $25 million. Previously, it was less than $1,000, so that jump makes sense. Now, their website says they have $60 billion under management and have expertise in, and I quote, structuring legislation. I wonder who structures the Oh, it's probably the legislator. Now, according to that same disclosure, Omar's personal accounts have like between $1,000 and $15,000 in savings, $15,000 to $50,000 in retirement, and $100,000 possibly in credit card debt or student loan debt. They conflate those two, but I choose to believe that she's a big credit card spender. Obviously, this is somewhat controversial considering one, how much money she's made, but two, the fact that she said, no, I'm just a working class mom with student loan debt who's worth possibly up to $30 million. And I'm sure her husband's, massively successful venture capital firm has nothing to do with the fact that his wife is in Congress and, could, in theory, even though it's not allowed, feed him information. And likewise, it can kind of be a circular system here of who gets what and who helps what and who does what favors for who and promote, what was that called that they have? Oh yeah, structuring legislation. Now, in the broader context of the wealth of congressional members, yes, you will probably see increases. They have book deals, speaking fees, which, you can debate on whether or not those are legit or they're trying to buy power with that sort of stuff. But those things happen across the board. Where it gets interesting is when members of Congress or their husbands see the Pelosi's beat the market in their return on investment by 10 times. All I'm saying is I understand that the type of person that probably runs for Congress, especially the conservatives, are probably business-minded people. They probably have investments in other places. I get that. But this feels very Hunter Biden-y of, oh yeah, I'm on the head of this Ukrainian energy company without having any experience in this. But oh, my dad also happens to be the president. The usual changes in the congressional reporting is somewhere between 10 and 50% depending on where the market is. And while you may think that's horrifying, that is what it is. Omar's, though, being 3,500% is a little bit out of that range. Just a little bit. The ultimate question then is clearly, will the Trump administration do anything about it? We've already seen President Trump and his administration go after elites that have allegedly committed mortgage fraud. Is this crazy of a jump by, again, a freaking socialist going to trigger the alarm bells in the Trump administration, and will they look into it further, considering the fact that Ilhan Omar and her husband make the Pelosi's look like they're Little League baseball teams? Let us know in the comments, will the Trump administration look into this further, or is this just what happens when you get to Congress?